All right, good morning, y'all. So it is like 8:30, and I'm getting ready to try to go out and compare my Lomo'Instant wide glass to my Instax Y300. It should be interesting. Both of these cameras are massive, and when I film in public, I like to try to stay as low-key as possible, and it's kind of hard to do that with these two giant cameras. So we're gonna see how this goes. I brought a fanny pack because I can't find the strap for my bags, so that's also a thing. I'm not a fan of fanny packs, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna try to go out and film just me comparing the two cameras to see how they compare, and just see how it goes. Theoretically, I think the Lomo should be sharper because it has a glass lens, as opposed to the Y300, which has a plastic one. So we shall see. I will try to keep the comparisons as similar as possible. So like if I use a flash on one, I use a flash on the other. If I use lighting on one, I'll use the lighting on the other. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to remember to keep it, like I said, keep the settings the same. My biggest hurdle right now with shooting with the Lomo is remembering to take the lens cap off. All my other instant cameras, for the most part, don't have lens caps, so I've definitely wasted a couple pieces of film by forgetting to take the lens cap off of my Lomo. I may just leave it off the entire time while I'm shooting with it, but we'll see. And matter of fact, I just walked out of the house without my Lomo, so let me go back and get it. My car's gonna finish defrosting, and then we will head out and see what we can capture. All right, so I think I'm gonna take a picture of this building right here. We'll start with the Lomo, turn it on. I'm gonna shoot in auto, or like zero difference in, zero exposure compensation, just because this part of it's in the sunlight. We're gonna see how this turns out. Let's step back a little bit more. Let's see if I can get. We're gonna see how this works out. Okay, it said no. Make sure it's on infinity. All right, cool. Let's see how this goes. All right, so I took that. Oh no, I forgot my pouch. I'll stick it in my pocket. And then we'll turn this off. And then we're gonna try out, oh geez, the waist. Oh Lord, try the wide. I got 10 shots. We're going to do infinity, turn off the flash. It's just regular. Oh no, so this, let's see how this works. All right. All right, so boom, those are taking pictures. I gotta figure out where to keep this separate so I don't get it mixed up. But yeah, on to the next site. Alright guys, it is really cold out here. I can definitely feel the 30 degrees. But yeah, we're gonna try and get a picture of the Grinch. Let's see. Again, no flash. I don't think it's doing anything, and it's like in the sunlight. I really gotta figure out this parallax thing. But yeah, we're gonna give it a shot. Here we go. Alright, cool. So, oh jeez. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all 10 shots today, because it is freezing out here. I'm so cold. Oh, my hands are cold. I couldn't find my gloves. We're gonna give it a shot. All right. and switching over to the 50. All right, 3 meters to infinity. No flash on. So one thing I'm noticing is that the viewfinders look very different. And so like the viewfinder on the Lomo seems to have like a closer view or look than the viewfinder on the wide. So I think it's just interesting. I don't know if it actually changes anything, but yeah. All right, so on to the next thing. I need to find something close up to photograph. But I don't know what. It's just so cold, guys. Oh, I love some graffiti, so we're gonna go take a picture of this graffiti here. All right, so for this one, I don't think the flash is gonna matter because it's so far away. So I'm gonna go to +1 exposure. And we're gonna give this a shot. Like half blind. I still feel like it's off a little bit. So I'm gonna come to the right just a smidge. I think that's more center. Let's go back some more. All right, here we go. All right, boom. All right, so turn this off and then go up to 300. So I'll switch over and then we're gonna go lighten. And we'll give this a shot. All right, here we go. I love wall art, and it's such a cool piece right there. I think I'm gonna go further back kind of into downtown and maybe get some photos of the yachts over there with the sunlight directly on them. So yep, let's keep walking. All right, I found the perfect thing to photograph close up. There is a little wreath right here. So we are gonna try and give this a shot. I'm going to do this with just flash. So I'm gonna put this back at 0. Oh, nope. Leave the flash on. I don't know how close to get. Like, I'm so bad at distances. I'm trying to like straighten this out some. I'm so bad at distances. I don't know how. 2 meters is like 6 feet, right? A meter is like 3 feet. So one, maybe here, maybe here. Maybe this is a good one. So we're gonna try this. I don't know if it's gonna work. I feel like this is 3 feet away at least. Oh Lord, all right, here we go. Give this a shot. I thought I had the flash on, but I didn't see a flash. So we're gonna hope for the best, I guess. And then switch over. Oh, Jesus. To the wide. 0.9 to 3 meters. Turn on the flash. All right. Yeah, I definitely don't think the flash went off for the first photo, which I'm curious about. I may take it again. Only had like 5 shots in here. I'm at 9, and so I brought another pack of film to do the other 5. But the green should mean that the flash is on. We'll leave it for now. Maybe I'll come back. I want to get a picture of this ship. I just don't know what I need to do to shoot it. Like, I don't know if I need to lighten, because it seems like there's a bit of light, but I feel like I need to lighten this. So we're gonna lighten it and see what we get. Yeah, I definitely gotta step back. So we're gonna give this a shot. Oh no, I'm still so close, you can't see the whole thing. Dude, the ship's huge. I don't think we'll be able to get the whole shipment here. So we're gonna see how this works out. And then, and then infinity, no flash. Did I do? Shoot, what did I do? I did do lightning. We're gonna do lightning. All right, let's see. So there are these poinsettias, whatever they're called. I'm gonna get some close-up photos of them. So, since the Y can only go to 0.9 meters, we will maybe do 0.6. And leave the flash on. No exposure compensation. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I don't know how close 0.6 is. So we're gonna try this. Hopefully the flash goes off. Okay, the flash definitely went off that time. So maybe it did go off the other time. It's just not as bright looking as the 300 maybe. Oh. 0.9 to 0.3. Maybe go back a smidge just because 0.9 is closer to 3 feet. I definitely think I wasn't close enough for the other shot. When we get the shot, oh wait, flash on. And then I think I am out of film. I need to like switch packs for. Yep, I've done my 10, so I need to switch packs for my Lomo. So this is just me switching out this film right quick. So I'm gonna open up the back, take out the old cartridge. I don't know if you guys can see any of this. Sorry, this looks weird. Maybe that's better. So, next I opened it, took out the cartridge, put this cartridge in. Which feels I'm in like direct sunlight, so I don't even know what you guys are seeing. And just line up the yellow spots. Put it back in. Turn it on. Press the button. We're good to go. So I want to get a picture of these Christmas lights. It's like daytime, so I don't know how well that's gonna work. I don't even know. We're gonna go exposure compensation, up 1, no flash, I don't get a reflection. Infinity, this is more than 6 feet. And then let's see. No, you're fine. All right, we're gonna give this a shot. Here we go. All right, sweet. And then I'm gonna grab this one right quick. Go to infinity, no flash, lighten. And then we're gonna try this one. Whew. All right, let's keep moving. So I'm gonna try to get a vertical shot of this church here. Yeah, so we're gonna see how it comes out. There's like sun from the right side of it and like shadow on the left. I don't know if I'm going to lighten this. I might, we'll see. But yeah, let's check this out. No flash. We will do exposure compensation just because of the shadow here on the, like the front half and the left of it. So I did turn off the flash. We're gonna see how this works out. Put this away. And then let's do this one. So we've got 2 shots left after this. Come on, lighten. Nope, not flash. See, almost messed this up. I'm digging this tree and the colors. It's still so far away though. I don't even think I can get close enough to do like, I can maybe shoot it from here and get close enough to get, I kind of want to do the 1 to 2 meters. I think is this. I don't know how to flash though. We're gonna go with 0 for the light, like exposure compensation, and we're gonna turn on the flash. I'm very curious as to how this is gonna look. It's like 1 to 3 feet. And then we're gonna try, oh geez, this one. Ooh, cool. Turn on the flash. No light and darken. 9 to 3 feet. Hopefully I'm waiting for this window. Waiting for the wind to die down so I don't get a blurry photo. So we'll see. I've got 1 photo left. I don't know what I want to get. Oh, there is another piece of graffiti that I like that maybe I will get. All right, so this is gonna be the last photo. I'm gonna get a picture of this building here. It is not quite white, but off-white. Hello. Good. Yes. Thank you. No, film. It's a little instant. A mixture. So I'm enjoying the instant film. It's nice to be able to like print the photos and see them. So yeah, it's really good. So for this one, I'm gonna go darken or -1 for the exposure. And we're gonna see how this works out. Turn off the flash. Let me step back just a little bit more. Oh, I don't like that in there. Maybe we'll squat a little bit. Okay, we're gonna get this. And whew. Oh no, I shot this in not infinity. Okay, I'm gonna cheat and shoot one more in infinity. Same shot, just in infinity now, instead of the other one, because I want to make sure. Oh. All right, hopefully this one is correct. Let me see if I can find the other one. This is the one that I messed up on. All right, and then, oh, here's this man with his dog. Sorry, move out of the way. I'm trying to take a photo. Hopefully he moves soon. All right, let's see if this last one will work. No flash. Oh, no, darken. All right, and that is the last shot of 10. Let's hope these things turn out well. All right, y'all, so it is time to compare the shots from the Lomo'Instant wide glass and the Instax wide 300. So I tried to get a variety of shots. So yeah, let's see how they turned out. All right, so interesting. This is much darker than this one is. So I shot both, or I think I shot both in darken mode. And so this one really darkened the shot. I don't hate it. The white to me isn't overexposed, but then you lose a lot of the detail in the background. Like if you get close, you can kind of see the tree branches and stuff. But really, this is a darkened photo to me. The glass, however, did darken the image, I think, because you can definitely see it's a lot darker here. But still, I think the white is a little bright, but not horribly bright. You can still like see, but you can also see more of the background with this as well. So this is a -1, but you do lose detail in the paneling on the house. So I don't think you can see it here. But if you look at the 300, hopefully if this focuses, maybe, hold on. Sorry guys, but yeah, you can actually see the paneling in this photo here. So, yep, very interesting. All right, so I am pretty sure I used a flash for this. I'll put it up on the screen once I go back and look at the footage. But this image is much brighter than this one. So I'm curious if I was accidentally on maybe -1 when I wasn't supposed to be, or if I didn't use the flash properly, because I'm pretty sure the flash was used with this. But on the 300, it is much brighter. You can definitely see more detail. The white's a little blown out, which is why I think I use a flash here. But you can definitely see the flowers a lot better than I think you can with the wide glass. However, I do think, if I'm looking at these, I think the wide glass looks a, I do think though, if I'm looking at these, I think, let me see. I feel like the wide glass looks a little sharper than the 300, and maybe just because it's not as bright, so maybe not like as blown out around the edges here, as opposed to, you know, it's darker, more contrast here. I do like this one. I just wish it was a little brighter like this. But yeah, this is the wide glass, and this is a 300. Sorry if that was out of focus. I had to like readjust and stop and start. But anyways, so here are the two images. This one is definitely a bit darker than this one. This one appears to be a little bit more blown out right here. However, this one seems to be, I don't know if I would say well exposed. I would say it's a little bit underexposed, but I do like it because again, you kind of see everything and nothing is really blown out per se. And this one isn't horribly blown out, but you can definitely, and maybe it's not blown out at all, it's just definitely brighter around this section here. And yeah, but overall, I like these two images. I think I like this one a little bit more, but this one isn't bad either. All right, so one of my favorite things to photograph is graffiti. And so here we are. So again, this is the Y300 and this is the Y glass. So I'm noticing, I think that the wide 300 exposes a little bit brighter than the wide glass, just when you're shooting in auto. So as you can see here, I think it's a little bit clearer as far as seeing everything that's on this wall and the detail. You kind of see the sky, and this part is blown out a bit right here. While here, it is a bit darker here, but not as blown out here. So in this one, you kind of lose the Grinch, like you see him, but I don't think you see him as clearly as you do there. So again, I am not hating on this. You know, I said I think this one exposes a little darker, but I'm probably wrong. I was thinking about it, looking back at these, but this one is actually a bit darker than this. So yeah, ignore what I just said as far as one exposing darker than the other. But yeah, these are two. Again, I don't hate either one of these. They both have their pros and cons. I wish this part was a little bit brighter, but I wish this part wasn't as bright. So yep, the glass and the 300. All right, so I was pretty far away. I was trying to get a picture of the Grinch here. So again, this one is actually a bit darker than this one. So here, I think you can see the Grinch and the sky just a little bit better. Like this is just more blue and things are just a little bit darker. As for here, you have a brighter blue slash coming in the white. And then you kind of, I don't want to say lose the Grinch. I just think the Grinch is not as defined in this one as he is in this one. So again, the 300 and the glass. All right, so these are like two different photos. So I think this was one where I wasn't sure if the flash went off, and I don't think it did because this is just like dark. So here is the 300, the flash went off. Definitely can tell that the flash went off. It's like this hot spot right here. Maybe I should have just did lighten instead of using the flash so it wouldn't be as bright like this. But yeah, that's the 300, and then this is the glass. As you can tell, as far as I can tell, no flash went off, and it's just kind of dark. You can't even see the reef here. All right, and this one is interesting. So this is, they were both shot without a flash. I can't remember if I used lighten or just shot it at like a neutral exposure compensation. I'm pretty sure I shot at lighten just because it was in the shade. But here you can see the whites here are very bright as opposed to here, they're a little more even. I think the whole photo is kind of washed out as opposed to this one. So this one's just darker than this one. As far as which one I like, maybe this one just because the whites aren't as bright, but I don't think this one is bad either. And it may have just been the composition because you can see more of the top of the building here as opposed to here. So I don't know if that affected the metering. All right, and then here are the boat photos, which I always like taking pictures of like vehicles and stuff. So again, these actually look pretty similar. On the glass, you can see a bit more brightness near the sail or in the middle than you do here, but I don't think it's anything drastic. Yeah, for the most part, these look pretty similar. Again, composition wise, they're a little different. Not much, but like here, I think this seems to have a wider frame of reference than this one, or maybe it's just the way I was standing, but you can definitely see like more past this pole over here than you can over here. All right, leaves. So I tried to get these as similar as possible, but they look almost completely different. So I guess I didn't do a good job. But overall, these are pretty much the same to me as far as exposure goes. I don't really see any major differences just from looking at them. And then finally, here is the church again. I can't remember the exact settings for this one, but you can definitely see The 300 has a darker, less exposed portion by the church, while this one has more white on it. So again, I don't know if it was just positioning or what, but you can see more detail in the tree here than you can here, and there's more on the ground here than kind of closer. Well, I mean, closer to the church is what I'm kind of saying, but you can definitely see, I think, a bit more of the church here, or sorry, a bit more of the trees here than you can here. So let's go back and look at these and try to look more, I guess, at the sharpness of each image. So just from looking at them, I'm trying to see. I feel like this one looks a little bit sharper only because there's a lot of white here, and so it's a bit overexposed. So it's almost like the building is fading into the background here, as opposed to here where it is like more solid blue. You can kind of definitely see the outlines of the church. Let me look and see. I'm trying to look at the little clock here to see if it looks drastically different on this. I mean, in this one, the clock is more clear, but again, this is a bit brighter exposed, or just a bit brighter than this. So it may just be due to the fact that you can't really see this, why it looks murkier than this. Even looking at the trees, again, I think these look sharper, but because you can see more of it as opposed to here where it's just darker and you can't really see. So let's look at some other photos. This is some close-up of these leaves. So this is the 400, sorry, this is the glass. It looks pretty sharp to me. I don't really see anything super crazy. But then this also looks pretty sharp, at least the leaf wise. Maybe the branches look a little bit blurrier or less sharp, I don't even say blurry, than these branches here. But again, unless you're like staring at these photos, I don't think you'll really notice any difference. All right, let's look at the boat pictures. So again, let's see. I think here the masks look a little bit sharper, but again, I wonder, is it due to the fact that this has a bit more white? And so, well, let me look again. I don't know, the closer I look at them, the more they seem like pretty even as far as sharpness goes. I'm not seeing anything crazy that makes one better than the other, so I'd say these are about even. All right, here we go for this one. Again, hold on, I'll put one down. So we're looking at the glass here. Hold on one second. Again, I can't really tell any major difference between the two. Like, this is more bright, and so I think that factors into how I'm viewing the sharpness, just because like there's not as much contrast. So this kind of, to me, looks a bit sharper, but again, if I look closely at it, this doesn't not look sharp. So I think it's due to the exposure kind of playing a trick on my eyes and making this less contrasty and thus looking a little bit less sharp. And then this one here, I mean, you can't really see much in the foreground. The background looks a little blurry, but I changed the focusing range to focus on this, so that might be why. This one, things look sharp to me. The bench looks sharp. The wreath looks pretty sharp and like in focus. So I can't really say with this one right here, just because I don't think the flash went off, so you can't really see the foreground to compare it with this. So yeah, we'll kind of count this one as a wash. And we are back to the Grinch. So we'll start with the 300 this time. Let me take a look. So yeah, overall, I think this one is pretty sharply focused. yeah, let's look at the glass. Again, I don't know if it is the exposure part that is making me think it looks less sharp or if it's actually less sharp. But again, you can't really get the details and see the Grinch much, but it is much brighter in the center of this film than it is in this one. And so you kind of lose the contrast and the lines and it kind of blows out a little bit. From what I can see, the image looks sharp. It just may be the exposure part that's throwing it off. And then, all right, here we go. Here is another one. So we'll look at the glass first. Glass looks pretty sharp to me. Like I said, here it's like the opposite, where this one is darker and you can see kind of the Grinch more, as opposed to this one, which appears to be a lot brighter. So I'm sure it has something to do with the metering system and how it registers the image. And then also, I pretty much stood in the same spot, but you can see this one is much closer, like a zoomed in portion. This one's like more zoomed in than this one. So I wonder, did it get more of, so I wonder, did the glass get more of the sky, and that's why it kind of better balanced out the exposure for this photo, as opposed to this one, they got more of the dark wall, and so it just made everything brighter to compensate for how much darkness was in the photo, and that's why like this one is blown out. But even looking at this one, it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty sharp, minus like the blown out highlights. And this one looks, I think, really sharp. Yeah. So sharpness wise, honestly guys, I'm not seeing major differences between the two. The exposure, I think, is playing the biggest part in how my eyes are perceiving some of the sharpness. So again, here, this one is kind of a darker exposure, and I like this exposure. You can kind of see everything. Yeah, it looks reasonably sharp to me. I'm not seeing anything crazy. You lose some of the details and some of the whites, but again, nothing crazy. But here, let me look at this. Again, it looks sharp to me. It's just that this is more exposed or brighter than this one, and so you lose some of the details in the white, and so that leads me to, at least my eyes, to think that it's not quite as sharp. But honestly, I think these are pretty similar, and if they were exposed the same, I think they would be, you know, sharpness wise, pretty much the same. All right, now again, I'm not sure if the flash went off for this one, but looking at the 300, I think it is pretty sharp. You can see like details of the trees here, and you can see details in the petals of the leaves. A little blown out, but sharpness wise, I think it's pretty good. You definitely lose a lot of detail here, but when you look at the flowers, you can definitely see details in the flowers and the texture. And so if this was a little bit brighter, I think I would like this a little bit more. But overall, I think the two photos are relatively sharp and like the same level of sharpness. And then finally these two. So again, I think they're both pretty sharp. Again, I don't know if you can see the detail in here. There's like, you can see the detail in the paneling here for this white, but you lose a lot of the detail in the background. But again, it looks pretty sharp to me. The sign seems a little fuzzy, but it's a tiny sign, and you know, I was shooting big, so that might be why. Here, again, I think things are pretty in focus. You could definitely see more of the background and surrounding area. Again, however, you lose a lot of the detail and like the paneling of this building. So I still think these two are pretty sharp together, like same level of sharpness. It's just the exposure is kind of throwing me off. So what are my thoughts on this? Honestly, I think the wide and the 300 have pretty similar sharpness. The biggest thing or difference, I think, is how they expose their photos. Sometimes the 300 exposes darker than the glass, and sometimes the glass exposes darker than the 300. So I don't know if there is much you can do to change that as far as getting them to have like the exact same exposure because they're different cameras. But overall, I think both options are great. The 300 normally is the cheaper option. So if you're looking to save some money, I definitely think you can't go wrong with the Instax 300. But the glass is not a bad choice either. You will definitely get some sharp images here. So either way, I think they're good. It just kind of depends on you and what you want to do. But you guys let me know what you thought in the comments below. Did you see like a great difference in the sharpness of the images? Were you surprised by any results?